What's good? What's good? What's good in the hood? And welcome back to another episode of the Good in the Hood podcast. This week, I'm joined by special guest, man, Cat from Kentucky. You know what I'm saying? Repping Kentucky, the homie CazzWonder, new project out now called Parables. Nine track. You calling it the EP? What you calling it, bro?
It's yeah. I say EP will be, appropriate, man. I think that'd
EP.
be appropriate. Yeah.
Man, shout out to the homie Archer Thomas. Shout out to the homie Garfield putting me on to you, bro. I've really enjoyed the music, and I want to let you introduce yourself to the people and tell them first off what they can. Because I don't want to be the one to describe your music first. I'd rather you let the people know like what can they expect when they hear a CazzWonder album.
Well, man, to be honest, hopefully you just hear something you enjoy, man. Something a bit outside of the norm. I wouldn't necessarily categorize my shit as something that you would say is common, if you will, or at least I strive to, make it as uncommon as possible as relates to what I hear on an everyday basis, which is kind of weird because the shit I hear on an everyday basis, the shit you hear on the radio, is shit I love and enjoy. You know what I'm saying? But yet, in my music personally, hopefully it's something you can kind of appreciate as, something new and refreshing, man. Something a bit outside the box.
Sure. I told you beforehand. I turned it on, and initially I got that very authentic, unique sound off the bat. But it also had a nice blend with, like I'm saying, not necessarily what's current, but just like what's appeasing to something like it's an easy listen on the production side, but your voice and your flow is very aggressive, so it's a nice 1-2 punch. I would love to hear what like some of your influences growing up, or just stylistically, what influenced you music-wise on the music side.
Yeah, man. Well, just growing up, just in general, I was just a big hip hop fan.
Sure.
I mean, probably initially some of like my earliest introductions was just from like my pop CD collection. So when I was in, 6th, 7th grade, my parents would go to work prior to my bus coming to pick me up. So in the mornings, between getting up, getting dressed, going to catch the bus, I would have that little period to kind of sneak into my pop CD collection.
Word.
You feel me? So at that time, initially, like some of the first ones that just like really kind of stick in my head was that Tupac All Eyes on Me. It was like a double disc. And then he had 2 Outkast albums, Aliens and maybe Aquemini, or it might have actually been Southern Playalistic, Cadillac Music, maybe actually, and then Aliens. So long story short, as a 6th, 7th grader, as you know, the Outkast albums always have a naked woman on the CD. You feel me? So I just thought that was dope as fuck. Like, oh man, I'm putting this in immediately. Look at this. So, man, Outkast and Pop were 2 of the earliest artists that I like really enjoyed and kind of grew fond of at an early age. And then from there, man, just, more and more, hip hop I would listen to, the more and more shit I love. Like, just a lot of MCs, particularly some of your more lyrical MCs, man, have really been influential, man.
And I'm seeing you with the Wildcats on the hat. Were you born and raised in Kentucky?
Born and raised, man. Born and raised in Lexington, Kentucky. Yeah,
so
indeed,
man. I'm always curious, like with in those coaches where like it's not really a prominent rapper in the front stage repping your state. Like, how was the hip hop scene in Kentucky growing up for you? Like, was it all outsourced, or was there stuff like in your area that you checked out for?
I mean, growing up, to be honest, obviously, like you said, it wasn't as if, we just had all sorts of incredibly prominent, rappers and, niggas in hip hop, in the industry, per se. But, every blue moon, man, we would have some success. Nappy Roots, for instance, was very successful, man, well respected in Kentucky, man.
I love Nappy Roots, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, you know,
Hell no.
there's
Oh
always been
no. That's
right,
my
you
shit.
know,
That's
yeah,
my
man.
shit.
So they were really successful, man, and you know, in their own right, and you know, well respected, you know, around these
Sure.
parts, man. Um, you know, and then you got quite a few local people over the years, man, growing up, and even you know, more so into adulthood that you know
Sure.
you really respect, man. So you've had people who, at least locally, you know, I certainly have admired and have enjoyed their work, man. But I think even now, when you see like a Jack Harlow, a Bryson
Mm,
Tiller, you know,
mm.
you're seeing people from the state start to have more and more success, man, and it's a
See,
really beautiful thing.
so you put me on game that fast. Like I consider myself a music head. I had no idea Bryson Tiller was from Kentucky.
Yeah,
Like, so
man.
that's real.
Yeah,
That's real game to put me on. I consider myself a fan of his too. That's dope. That's dope to find out. Like,
yeah, man.
uh, so like with that, like, so I'm glad that to see you represent your state with so much pride. How does the motivation feel to be like, man, I'm gonna be the first one to do this shit? I'm saying like is that just pushing me? Like, I'm gonna be the one to put Kentucky and show people Kentucky can spit out. Like, is that
Right.
on you? Do you feel that?
Right. Well, I mean, to be honest, man, I really try not to even approach it from that perspective.
That's
Just
real.
because, honestly, man, again, like I said, there's been people who have been very, very successful, you know, out of
Yeah,
the state of
yeah, yeah,
Kentucky,
yeah.
even on a smaller scale, and have done, you know, far more, you know, than I have, that I, you know, continue to work and aspire
No
to
shit.
accomplish and to do, man.
That's real
Um,
shit.
so I feel like it would be somewhat unfair to, you know, for me, like, completely to even suggest, like, I'm, you know, the first person from Kentucky to ever do anything of significance. You know what I'm saying? So I try
For
not to
sure.
really go into it with that mindset, because there's a lot of talented people, man, you know, in the state. A lot of talented brothers, you know, and sisters around Kentucky, man. Seriously. So,
Sure.
you know, most importantly, I just hope to, you know, build off of the motivation that, you know, you get from not only people in your
Absolutely.
state, but just from, you know, music and hip hop in general, man. And just try to, you know,
Absolutely.
build and be the best that I can be. And hopefully with, you know, proper work, man, you know, the shit will speak for itself. You know what I'm saying? Is the goal,
And
I guess.
I tell my homies all the time, like especially if you go back to '96 when Outkast first came out, like you can argue that since they came out until now, the South has ran hip hop and ran the culture and has done a great job of lifting the culture up to the where it
Yeah.
is now to being the best genre in the world. So
Yeah.
like with Southern hip hop being that way, what I'm also noticed is there isn't one sound in the South, but that needs to be super known. Like because you can go to rappers like even T.I. T.I. was
Mm-hmm.
much more lyrical, much more New York influence than say someone like Jeezy.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at like the South hip hop, and you look at your voice and compare, do you see do you see like you have a idea of where you want to fit in, or are you trying to I'm CazzWonder, and this is what I have to say. I'm not here for the foolishness.
Yeah, no, I heard what you said, man. And I guess it's not like to be cliche, because I feel like every artist says
Yeah,
this, like, oh man, I'm just me, you know, like
yeah,
I'm Kaz, you know, so that's what you try to like truly, you know,
for
stay
sure.
true to. But if I'm being honest, man, you know, throughout the course of my life, I probably have been a little more, you know, partial to Northern New York, you know, Philly,
Mm,
Jersey type hip hop,
for
you
sure.
know, East Coast hip hop. Um, Despite that, I love this, you know, I love Southern shit, man. You know what I'm saying? And Kentucky's like a really, really weird, like, you know, kind of dichotomy, if you will. Like, it's kind of a weird situation in the sense of, although we obviously identify as, you know, the South, many people to me kind of even locally and like just outside of the state, like Louisville, Lexington to a lesser degree, but are more so like a Midwest vibe, if you will, you know, because it's not
Okay.
northern, it's not really, it's right on that southern, you know, like
Yeah, I guess
fence.
Kentucky's kind of like Missouri in that way. Like St. Louis people kind of give me that same energy. Like it's kind of southern, but it's kind of Midwest. Like it depends on
Yeah,
like.
you
I
know,
feel that's dope. That's a dope breakdown.
no, very true, man. But I do really, really love East Coast rap. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
You know,
okay,
classic East
yeah,
Coast rap and shit. You know, like that's
that's
just, you know, that's my shit, man. Like
and listening to you
Brazil
rap.
right now, for instance.
Mm,
No, go ahead. Go ahead. My bad, brother.
No. Proceed, because that's a good one.
No,
I'm
but I was
listening
saying
to you.
Griselda, for instance, man, you know, with Benny, Conway, West Side, man, like they're in heavy rotation. I love that shit, man. You know what I'm saying? And it's like,
that's
despite
what,
my lyrical content being quite drastically different, you know, at times, it's like that's still in my private time. That's the type of shit that is inspirational, that I enjoy, that I like,
no, for sure.
you know, really vibe to, man. You know, I have a lot of respect for, you know, a lot of MCs, man, you know, on the East.
And mentioning content, like you're not necessarily, like you definitely are individualistic in your music. So I would love you to share and divulge more into like your content and what the audience can expect by listening to you. Because like I said, Parables, I really recommend people listen to it. It's a 15-minute 9-track project, and even though it sounds short saying that, you definitely fill it up with some nice lyricism, man, and the production as well was very smooth. So I just want to kind of gotta get into your content and like what gives you the confidence to sometimes go there.
Well, I don't know, man. I mean, to be quite honest, a lot of the times when it comes to my lyrical content, it's, you know, just random frame of references or situations or shit that comes to my head. Because, you know, the more and more, you know, that I got into music and rapping and shit, man, oddly enough, the less and less I would write. You know, I got more so into just kind of wanting to just record myself on my little phone voice recorder. So I would like go over something over and over in my head and shit, you know, and then just, okay, I like this, whoop-de-whoop, whoop-de-whoop.
Yeah.
And boom, I would, you know, record this shit on my phone. And just, I knew as an artist, I really didn't want to engage in a lot of, you know, foolery, you know, bullshit too much. You know, which again is incredibly odd because that's a lot of the shit that I love to listen to. A lot of the shit I listen to is not, you know, really encompassed in my lyrics, in the message, you know, or whatever I want to get, you know, across type shit.
Right.
So a lot of my, you know, content is sometimes, you know, social, political, you know, conscious type shit. Sometimes it's just merely engaging in just everyday vices of drinking, smoking, chilling, you know, everyday struggles of, you know, work, women, you know, whatever the case may be, man. So I try to just make it as much of a reflection of just my daily life, daily struggles, daily, you know, events, you know, and just shit that's occurred to me, and just try to, you know, kind of run with the shit, man.
And it's dope to me that you mentioned Griselda off the top, because when I first put you on, like I immediately caught your voice, and like hearing you talk now in this interview and before we recorded, I'm like, oh, this is bro voice. Like I'm saying, it's a great voice you have. Like with the production you choose, it reminds me of like the Conways, like not necessarily with not the same exact voice, but you have. You can control the song with your voice. I'm saying it's a powerful tool to have. I would suggest listening to this artist name. I'm not sure if you heard of him. His name is Ka. Right? He kind of has that.
Spell it. How do you spell it?
Ka.
Ka. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
His album is called Descendants of Cain. Right? And he's very conscious as well. Like with his subject matter, he gets real deep. He to replay his songs a few times to get the punchlines. But he has that aura of like that Griselda sound, but it's a different vibe. And I get that from you a lot as well, like because you definitely come like even though you start the album, bro. We gotta get to the first line of the album because that made me go, hold on, replay, hold on. What did he just say? So like when like shit like that is definitely ear catcher, and I appreciate those kind of tools in hip hop. So I got to get to your punchlines because you start the album off the gate with a punchline that draws attention immediately, and the video made it even doper. Shout out to the was some Majestic Sunrise.
BC. Yeah, BC, man. You know, much love to BC, man. He was phenomenal shooting that video, man.
That video was dope.
He's super dope. Much BC love to BC, man.
on the real, but you start the song off like would you say I'm a pussy ass nigga if I am what I eat. I'm like,
yeah.
word.
I'm gonna tell you though, man.
Let's
Like
turn the speakers up a little bit. Let's tune in.
In real life, man, I'm kind of a bit of an oddball to say the least, man.
I'm the same way.
I'm a silly nigga, man. So
you know
a lot of my shit, lyrically, oftentimes will be relatively silly and comedic, man. But it's it's genuine, So I just try to, sometimes just relate some shit that everybody can relate to, but maybe not in the most traditional manner. You feel me?
You gotta find your uniqueness, and that's a fact, especially in this generation, this era we in. Like, I kind of want to get your take on like just being I don't want to say aspiring up and coming because you're doing it, but like just being a rapper who's trying to really make his stamp in this industry and the culture. I'm kind of curious, like how does it feel in this era? Like, because like in this era, region doesn't matter. Like, you being from Kentucky doesn't hinder you much because we have the internet. You can get heard from a cat like me from Chicago. You know what I'm saying, which is dope, which is dope as hell. So I'm kind of curious, like how do you feel about your path in the future going forward with music?
Well, man, I feel really excited, bro. I mean, I feel as excited as ever, man. I've been like rapping for, quite some time, to say the least. And, this is the most excited I've felt in a long, long time about, the work that's being put in, man, and where I think this can go. Because, like you were saying, man, in this day and age, the internet is so important. And admittedly, it's something that I'm trying to really, really grow with, man. Like, I'm not the most, heavy internet,
Yeah, you got like 4 posts on IG. You got like 4 posts on IG.
Yeah, man. So it's like I really, really in this, in 2020, 2021 and shit, I've got to get more engaged, man, with social media because it's so important, bro. It's just so important. But it's also like one of those weird things to where it's like, I think you forget when you see so many big successful artists that it's like these people are regular people. Like, I'm a regular dude who sometimes is like, all right, should I put this up? Should I do this? All right, is this cool? Where can I get the most likes? And these are things that like subconsciously are going ahead. And I guess it's just one of those things that where, the more comfortable you get with just, hey, man, my social media is just my social media. It is what it is. Yeah. It's just one of those things that I feel like is really going to be important for me going forward, man, that I'm trying to improve on,
Right.
But
and you mentioned on the top of that statement that you've been rapping for many years. I'm kind of curious, like, how long have you been rapping now? When did you start?
Man, I would say like maybe 08. When I came back, so maybe like my junior year of college, I was living in Louisville, going to U of L, man, and I asked my mom for Fruity Loops.
Damn, hold on. You went to Louisville and you went to Kentucky hat?
Yeah, dead ass, man. No, I'm from Lexington. Don't forget, I'm from Lexington.
That's real.
But my loyalty never, you know what I'm saying? That's, no. That's
real.
But,
you was on campus with the hat on like that? You a gangster if you did that shit, bro.
Every day, man.
You a gangster? Are you a gangster?
No, it was well understood. But you'll be surprised, man. It's a lot of Kentucky fans in Louisville.
Oh, shit. That's dope. Word. Okay. All right.
The state, man. Outside of the city of Louisville, man, Louisville's almost irrelevant throughout the state of Kentucky, as it relates to basketball and, athletics. You know what I'm saying? But, nonetheless, man.
Now even their past is irrelevant because of certain shit. But
No, so you've kept up with the cesspool that they call athletic. I see you kept up with that. Okay.
No shout out to Rick Pitino. Not shout out Rick Pitino.
Shout out Pitino, man.
But you said your mom bought Fruit Loops and
so I would, just kind of be in my little dorm room. I had my own little room in the sense of I had no roommate, my own little bathroom and shit. It was kind of almost like a little apartment style complex, but still on campus type shit, for upperclassmen. So long story short, man, that was kind of the beginning of me trying to dip and dabble and making my own little primitive beats, rapping. And I just kind of went from there, and it was kind of like, well, damn, I think I'm kind of nice. you know, and then next thing you know, I just kind of stuck with it, man. You know,
Man,
but never truly invested the time and energy I should have into it, to be honest. You know, I should have done a lot of this shit a long time ago, Juice. So, you know, it's just awesome to be here now, man.
Exactly, man. Got to think in the presence because I feel the same way about this podcast in many ways. So I understand that entirely. So is this considered is Parables your first quote unquote release? Like I know it's not your first because you've been rapping for years, but it's like your
Right.
first one.
Yeah, in all fairness, yeah, it is. It is. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I'm really proud of it, man.
You
It was a
should be.
long time coming. And I just hope to really, really, you know, grow on it. Just continue to grow, you know, because I think it's really good quality music. But, you know, on, you know, coming projects, obviously, I want to have a little more of a, you know, a full-fledged album, full-length songs type shit, you know?
Word.
And just kind of continue to grow, man.
And shit, mentioning that, like what's coming up next for you? What you got in the works? What your ideas for future projects or just your future in general moving forward?
So coming up, you know, I'm working on my next project called The Wonder Manifesto. Not really sure how many tracks I'm gonna have on there. Maybe anywhere from 10 to 13, give or take, maybe. But I'm really, really excited about that, man. I think it's gonna be some really, really dope shit. A lot of really dope production, man. You know, I've got a lot of close homies that you'll see and hear more and more about that are, you know, producing, man. So, you know, we've got a really dope team, man, who's just really, you know, really grinding, man. We're really trying to work. You know, we've got a lot of things going on. So I think Wonder Manifesto is gonna be dope. I really would like to kind of do.
I fuck with your titles, man. I fuck with your titles. Wonder
No, thank you, man.
Manifesto, that is hard.
No, I appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, bro. Again, you know, I've got a great team, great people around me, man. So like I'm really thinking about Juice working on somewhat of a like Parables unplugged, if you will. You know, if you remember the, you know, kind of classic MTV unplugged acoustic guitar, little drum type shit. So I would like to do a little rendition of all the same lyrics and verses from Parables, but to totally, you know, new rendered acoustic type, you know, live music type shit.
That'd be dope.
And then, you know, maybe try to release a little something in that regard. So I think that's next on the agenda, man.
That'd be dope because I remember I was having a conversation recently because I think I just saw a video from the Nirvana Unplugged. I was like, low key, like I'm not the biggest Nirvana guy, but I say all the time that Unplugged album makes me a Nirvana fan. Like that Unplugged album is, or even Lauryn Hill's Unplugged. Like this,
it's phenomenal, man.
Two fire examples. Yeah. So yeah, I'm all for that. Like I'm a lo-fi guy. I like that acoustic sound, so I definitely think that's gonna be a dope look, especially with songs like "What's the Wave" and "Majestic Sunrise and Sunset." I can hear those on some acoustic shit. That might be dope as hell.
Yeah, sure. I think so too, man. Thank you, bro.
And you mentioned going back to your 08 days and you being in your dorm, that you was rapping and producing. You still producing most of your music?
No, not at all, man. I really don't dip and dabble in producing at all. You know what I'm saying? Every now and then I'll, you know, peek my head in. Hey, man, maybe this would sound good. I think this would be dope. Because again, like I said, fortunately, some of my close homies produce. So a lot of the shit you hear on, you know, Parables are from, you know, niggas I know, you know, like personally. You know what I'm saying? So that's just a blessing within itself to have people around you who are talented like that, man. So I might stick my head in here and there, you know, we'll discuss. They'll say, what do you think about this type shit? But in terms of producing, man, no, that's really not my bag, man. You know, I try to do the writing.
That's real. And with writing, like, I want to kind of ask you about the just the state of lyricism in hip hop. Like, you hold yourself as a lyricist. You talk about the importance of writing. Like, when you look around the culture, you look at like some of your peers, like even some of the newcomers coming up. Like, do you see lyricism staying at the forefront? Because I remember even like a couple years ago when there was quote unquote mumble rap everywhere, people still said, well, the top three rappers in the game are still lyricists with Cole, Kendrick, and Drake. And as they become older statesmen as time goes forward and we start seeing the rise of like the Lil Babies, the Roddy Richards, the Lil Durks. And even though they can be lyrical at times and not the traditional lyricists, you see lyricism taking a back seat nowadays. How's your perspective on that?
Man, I don't know, bro. I mean, that's tough because to an extent, something in me wants to say, yeah, you do see lyricism take a bit of a back seat. It's a little more so what vibe can you create? If you can create a dope ass vibe, and still be successful in that with minimal lyrics, I mean, shit, go for it. I mean, and I think we see that, quite frequently now.
That's pretty much R&B right now. R&B is just a vibe now. That's all it is.
Yeah, people just create a dope ass vibe. I think that's important, But as much as you want, like at least me personally, as much as I want to say that lyricism is taking a bit of a back seat in hip hop, I still feel like, man, it's so like I'm torn because I feel like there's still quite a bit of work out here, particularly if you want to put in the work and listen to some different shit. There's quite, there's more than enough artists out here that can really satisfy your, lyrical want, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Sure. So like if you want something lyrical, you can find some dope shit out there. And there's a lot of dope artists out, man. So, I mean, I'm torn. You get what I'm saying? Because I feel like I hear a lot of shit. It's like, man, here we go. Same old shit.
Yeah,
but
like,
then I feel like.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, brother.
I was like, I feel like you got a couple years on me. I graduated high school in 2008. Either you was a junior in college.
Yeah, that was the start of my junior year.
So it's like a couple years between us. So like, I agree with you 100%. Like I feel like, but also at the same time, it's like I remember being in that era, that blog era, even the mixtape era before that, and it was more music to kind of grab on because it was out there for us. You can go to Two Dope Boys, you can get Currency, you can get Jay-Z, you can get, whoever it's all right there. While I feel like now, unfortunately, even though there's more music than ever now, it's like you got to search for it, and I really hate. That's what it's come to.
Yeah. I mean, but searching for music to me is kind of like one of the weird, like little fun, enjoyable things that, I kind of do now. Finding some new dope shit. Like I said, when I first heard Griselda, and that's been some time now, obviously, this is a couple years ago, but just as an example of, or even maybe Armani Caesar, I believe is her name, who fucks with, Griselda, man. Mm-hmm. When I, first heard her, it was, again, I was like excited just to kind of hear something new, man.
I'm gonna have to send you a list of some acts, bro. Because like you saying Armani Caesar, I want you to hear Shay Noir. Like Shay Noir from Buffalo too. She don't really mess with Rock Marciano a little more than them, but she hard. Okay.
Man.
I'm realizing our taste is similar. That's why I keep throwing names at you, because like I can tell by when you're talking. I can even tell by listening to your project, like, oh, bro, you probably have the same taste in music in a sense. I mess with your vibe off the music side, and I'm curious, like, do you see yourself integrating like R&B? Do you see yourself? Are you going to keep the same format moving forward with your music as far as like, because like a couple of these. There's a couple 56-second songs. There's a couple, minute and a half songs. Do you see yourself keeping that format, or do you see yourself?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, man. On upcoming projects, I think you're gonna see less and less 50, 60-second tracks. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe every blue moon, I'll incorporate something like that, just because, like, I kind of like that shit. But I think for the most part. Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? Which is something I kind of enjoy, and also I think it's a bit different, but at the same time, I don't want to make a habit of having projects that are, 60-second verses. You feel me? I feel like that's tough. Like we were talking about vibes. It's tough to really, enjoy the vibe in 50 to 60 seconds, or at bare minimum, you want more,
I feel like what it does, and which you did a great job with it, is it adds credence to the transitions. I'm saying it adds credence and emphasis to the sequencing. Like, so like I appreciate Like if it's 50 seconds, like don't let it go from like, you know what I'm saying, a slow song to a fast song. You have it sequenced well. The project is the vibe. You know what I'm saying, not necessarily the song. So like, I feel like if you structure it that way,
right.
there's success there for sure, man. I really had a
So
great
let
time
me
listening
ask you,
to it.
Juice.
Yes,
Let
sir.
me ask you, you're hearing a new artist for the first time, and they have 60, 50-second tracks. Their next project, they have 50, 60-second tracks. Now, don't get me wrong, coupled in here, there are full-length songs, full-length, projects there and records. But would you be like, yeah, I kind of fucks with the fact that they always have 60-second verses on their shit? Or would you be more so like, well, hey, I want to hear, a little more of a full-length project? Like, what would be your perspective on something like that?
It's in between, right? It definitely matters upon the quality, right? Like, cause someone like from Philadelphia, Tierra Whack, she kind of does the shortened songs a little bit, but she does well. She does well with it as well. Like, so, but there's artists who can do that and be not that well with it. I feel like you did Parables well with this. I would probably I would probably say like, yeah, you can do more long ones, but like honestly, long as especially with the majestic sunrise, majestic sunset, like the ability to put those two together and make that video, I feel like that was like aha, like it was a little cheat code you had in there. Like, I know these mogs is 1 minute, but watching I put them together, that was a nice little twist you was able to pull off. And like sometimes, like I honestly, for me, I'm always one to I trust the creative's creativity, and if you guys make it work, I'm always with it.
Yeah, no, dope, man.
Yeah, because like I said, with Tierra Whack is like super eccentric, and she does those 50 seconds, minute and a half songs, and I get it. Like, well, what she does, it fits entirely well. And honestly, I was surprised at how well it fit with yours, because you are much more lyrical and aggressive with it. But the sound you have and the sequencing of it made it all come together. So if you had pulled that off, man, I wouldn't doubt you. I wouldn't doubt you moving forward. You know what I'm saying? Like, you prove it right once. Yeah, for sure. I'm kind of curious though. Like we talked about Griselda. What else do you keep? What else is in your rotation like currently, like outside of yourself? And what do you listen to?
All right, so let's see, man. Here recently, it's crazy. I just went out, because I feel like I'm one of the few people, Juice, who still gets CDs, bro.
Oh,
I still kind of value. I feel like I still value purchasing CDs, man.
I thought you were gonna say vinyls at first, but yeah, CDs.
No, not vinyls. I want to get into vinyls next, man. To be honest, and start developing a nice little vinyl collection. But that, I'll get into that later. But I still really get, quite a few CDs, man, compared to most, at least. So most recently, let's see, I've been listening to Action Bronson. Action Bronson just dropped a new little album, something with dolphins. Speaking with dolphins.
Is Harry Fraud producing it? Was it Harry Fraud?
Yeah, a lot of Harry Fraud. Yep, precisely. But something dolphins, man. Action Bronson.
Only for dolphins.
Only for dolphins, man. Really, really dope project, man. I've really been enjoying that shit. I've been listening to some new Currency. That new Conway, man. I really enjoy.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's see what else, man. Some Royce. It was a Royce the 5'9" CD.
I'm glad you brought that up, bro. I'm glad you brought up Royce the 5'9", right? Because ironically, this is completely ironic that this happened. It's called the Allegory, right? And what's amazing about you mentioning Royce the 5'9", what's amazing about you mentioning that particular project, because I googled parables, I'm saying, before the interview, just do research, and literally a synonym for parables is allegory. I said, yo, that's dope. Shout out to Royce. And literally, you did not know this. There's no way that could have been brought up otherwise.
That's crazy though.
That's crazy as hell. That's crazy as hell.
Man. Yeah. Shout out to my homie Sammy. My homie Sammy here in Lexington, Kentucky, man. Sammy owns a little dope shop with all sorts of CDs, vinyls, you name it, anything you need, you know, hip hop wise, man.
Shout out to Sammy.
And long story short, he heavily suggested that I get this Royce the 5'9" because he knew I was a fan. And I was like, man, you're right. I haven't, you know, really given this album the time it deserves. Yeah. And sure enough, you know, here we are, you know, talking about it. But, you know, that's the reason I got it, man. My homie Sammy.
That's crazy.
Peace to Sammy.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's it's like crazy how the world works, man. That's fire. Yeah, man. Yeah. So like, and how is 2020? What you dropping this project? Like, how was 2020 treated you? Like outside of, I'm saying, you know, the craziness. I mean,
you know, 2020, man. Like you said, it was a crazy year, man. A crazy time. You know, but in the grand scheme of things, man, I think musically at least, we put in a lot of work, man. And, you know, it's a lot of shit going on soon to come. And I'm just thankful for being, you know, in a position to finally put something out, you know, in a manner in which people can actually have access to it. Being on all DSPs, you know, having my first true video, having something that I can really be proud of and try to build upon. You know what I'm saying? So as weird as 2020 was, man, oddly enough, I did a lot of writing during those quarantines, man, doing that March, April, May, doing, you know, just all sorts of, you know, just brainstorming this, that, and the third, to where it, you know, as odd as it was in such shitty, weird, unprecedented times, it was also a time that, you know, I was able to put in some work. So, I mean, 2020 will be a year I'll never forget. I'll say that, you know, for a variety of reasons. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
But, and you know, no doubt.
For me, it's been the same. Like I was able to do a lot of things creatively and productively that I never thought I was going to be able to do because of just, you know, everyday life, job and stuff. And this pandemic hit, and it gave me time. Like, it gave me time, and I took advantage. I'm happy to take advantage of that time. And in that time, I became cool with my homie Audra. I'm saying, also known as Pinky, and she's the VP of Asking for Change. She actually put me in contact with your manager. That's how I found your music and how we having this conversation today. And she's a big advocate over there in Lexington. And I kind of want to get your take as a rapper in the community. Like, how has it been in Lexington? Because Lexington has been in a hot spot. I'm saying during 2020. I'm saying as far as with social justice goes, and I was kind of curious, like from your vantage point, like how's everything going now as we sit in November?
Yeah. Well, you know, peace and love to Pinky as well, man. She's doing a lot of great work, man. You know, podcasting and everything, you know. So yeah, you know, shout out to her. But Lexington is Lexington. And, you know, I guess what I mean by that is Lexington is always, you know, in the state of Kentucky in general. You know, yeah, man. I mean, you know, it is what it is. So, admittedly, I think the city of Lexington and the city of Louisville are continuing to grow. They're continuing to not only just grow in terms of, you know, literal population, but in terms of just, you know, mentally and, you know, consciousness, advocacy. I think, you know, given, you know, the Breonna Taylor situation, man, I think, you know, Louisville did some really, really amazing, awesome things as it relates to just getting voices heard, you know, letting our frustrations and concerns be heard. You know, it's a lot of dope shit going on in Louisville as it relates to, you know, Black-owned businesses, you know, social and, you know, political, you know, advocacy. I mean, it's a lot of shit going on, man, that I think is, in the grand scheme of things, going to be really, really beneficial to the city of Louisville and the Black community in particular. Because, again, I think people are, you know, getting more and more fed up, man. And as a result, you know, are starting to be far more conscious and, you know, far more active in, you know, securing, you know, certain liberties, you know. So,
like,
I mean, I was Kentucky is what it is, you know. So it is what it is, but no, my bad, brother. Go ahead.
You good.
But, you know, I was saying, man, you know, Kentucky is what it is, man. You know, our attorney general, you know, to say the least, is a nuisance and a thorn in the side. But again, I think he is unfortunately far more of a reflection of the state of Kentucky than many people would like to accept and realize and understand. But again, Kentucky is what it is. But thankfully, at bare minimum, Lexington, Louisville, and again, many surrounding, little counties, man. You got pockets of people all throughout the state of Kentucky. I don't want to sit here and make Kentucky seem just like it's just
no,
an
for sure. Like
absolute fucked up place. But again, as I say, Kentucky it is, so you can't forget that either.
Absolutely. And I was telling Pinky, like I was talking to Pinky, and I was like, for me, I come from Chicago, and of course, as a black man, I've experienced racism, but like I'm also kind of in a bubble, being in a blue state, and I'm saying near a big city, like. So for me, seeing anything that says MAGA is like a instant like what you want like type of thing.
Yeah.
Or like seeing I seen a Confederate flag maybe twice in my life in Illinois. I've seen it while visiting my family in the South, but I've never seen it. I can't even count the times I've seen Confederate flag. I mean, I can count the times I've seen a Confederate flag in Illinois. Like it's very, very far and few. So like I'm curious, like as a rapper, as a human, like as a black man, like how does that shape you being around like the ops? You know what I'm saying?
Right. I mean, I guess it's a weird thing, man, because I don't want to suggest that by living in the state of Kentucky, just every day I step outside of my home and I'm being bombarded by some type of bigot.
I didn't mean to insinuate.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. No, of course not at all, Juice. No.
Yeah,
I'm not attacking you by any means, brother.
No, for sure. Yeah,
I'm just, you know what I'm saying? I just feel like, Kentucky obviously, historically has a certain reputation, if you will, a certain image that is perceived by the outside world. Let's not forget Mitch McConnell. Let's not forget Dan Cameron. I mean, these people are poor reflections for the state. You know what I'm saying?
I was praying Mitch was gonna get out of there. Ooh, I was praying he was gonna get out of there, man. I can't believe that old man's still in office.
Juice, they're very, very poor reflections for the state. Things like Breonna Taylor, nationally. Think about, what people are thinking about the state of Kentucky when you see these type of atrocities. You see what I'm saying, bro?
Yeah, man.
So I mean, with that being said, I'm not gonna, suggest that, oh man, the moment I step out of my door, I'm being, attacked by bigots. You know what I'm saying? With Trump, MAGA hats and flags. I'm not, gonna suggest anything like that at all. But I think, you also understand from growing up in a state like Kentucky, from playing high school basketball, going to places like Corbin, Kentucky, away games, and literally, people in the stands, nigga this, nigga that, nigger, and all sorts of shit. You see what I'm saying? These are things that occur, and you could get a shitload of stories from people from Kentucky, who, and for any state from in the South for that matter, who would tell you the same thing. So. Kentucky is a beautiful place, man. It's my home. It's where I became a man, and it is what it is. But you also grow up being aware and conscious of knowing that racism is, very well and prevalent, in this world. It kind of is something that, you grow to, deal with accordingly, throughout your upbringing, man.
I'm sure as a Black Kentucky native, I'm sure most Black Kentucky natives can also probably took a lot of pride and had a lot of hope and gained some hope when you seen Georgia turn blue. Like I'm sure that gave hope for sure.
But see, Georgia has a lot more hope than Kentucky. Kentucky ain't turning blue, brother. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm turning blue, man. But
I would bet on Kentucky before I bet on Mississippi.
Yeah. Maybe Mississippi might be one of the few, but I'm gonna tell you, fortunately being from Lexington, man, it's a bit different. Again, we're not a huge city by any, means in no stretch, but it's a little different, being from Lexington, certainly being from Louisville. Louisville and Lexington at bare minimum try to, have some type of decency throughout the state.
And I say all the time, and like we say, every black person in Chicago says this all the time. If you look at the map of Illinois, like Chicago is up at the very top, but Chicago is blue. The rest of the state, this shit red. Like all these, man. Like Illinois gets very rural. Like it's a lot of rural areas in Illinois. It gets really red around here. I just fortunately just don't go to them places. It's like I just leave their ass the fuck alone, man. Billy Bob,
man.
Stay away from me, man. Billy Bob, and keep a distance.
No, I hear you, man. I hear you.
But like I don't want to keep it too political, and I don't want to do that to you. But go back to music. Like,
no, because I can talk that shit all day, man. You'll get me going here, Juice.
You know what I'm saying? For sure. But like when you see can you see that side of your history jumping into your music? Do you plan on like getting more having that more in-depth conversation or more in-depth remarks in your music in the future?
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you, man, it's kind of weird for me because some of my shit, man, I feel like in my head is, considered somewhat controversial to say the least. So I try to kind of walk a thin line of saying some nutball shit within my lyrical content at times, but then not just getting too saturated with politics, with, religion, with, certain shit that, again, like we were discussing earlier, sometimes you just want to vibe, man.
Yeah.
I don't want to necessarily always be bombarded with some social political rhetoric, with some take on, religion or, this, that, the third. You get what I'm saying? So as much as I may like, read up and, be into things that are kind of bizarre, I want to incorporate them, here and there as little jewels in my shit, and not necessarily bombard you. You know what I'm saying?
Now
so that's still gonna be there, Juice, but I don't want to bombard you.
For sure, and like me being a Chicago guy, like I when you said that, I instantly thought about Lupe Fiasco, right? Because me being a big Lupe fan, I've always everything he made, I'm always in tune with. But I got homies that would call him unicorn rap. You know what I'm saying? That's like a majority. Probably a majority of the population would say that's unicorn rap. That's like I think Fredro Starr just went on some show and said that Lupe and Royce, that's nerd hip hop. But honestly, bro, before we get you out of here, I just want to say, please do never censor yourself, bro. Like, don't worry about what the fans think. Don't worry about what the listener thinks. Like, I prefer personally music that the artist doesn't think about me. Like, just tell your story and tell me who you are. You know what I'm saying? Because like even with Griselda, like I'm not no street nigga. I'm not flipping. You know what I'm saying? Nearly the drugs them niggas is flipping. But I can understand that shit. I can appreciate the art of it. I'm saying as long as that shit's done artistically, I feel like the fans will fuck with it, bro. That shit, as long as that shit's authentically you and artistically true, then that was a bar.
That was a bar. That was a bar. But no, dead ass, you hit the nail right on the head, man. And that's exactly what I, strive to every day.
Man,
stay true to who I am. I know it's some weird shit, and I'm cool with that nerd rap. Like, I am the psychopathic nerd. You know what I'm saying? So I'm down with that shit.
Yeah. I'm gonna be in tune with the music in the future, your moves in the future. Shout out to your manager Garfield. Shout out to the homie Pinky for putting me on to you. Dope music.
Yeah,
man. Definitely excited for your future.
Much love to D, man. Much love to Garfield, fam. It's an awesome connection, man. And we'll definitely continue to build, in the future, Juice. I just appreciate you having me on, brother.
Oh, man. No problem at all. Please tell the people where they can find you, what they can search for to hear your music, all the good stuff.
Of course, man. Find me on Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, Apple Music, all DSPs, CazzWonder. Cazz, CAZZ, Wonder, WONDER, CazzWonder. Find me on all. Thank you so much again, Juice, for having me on, bro.
Man, appreciate you, man. Enjoy the rest of your day. Yeah, man, bless up.
Hey, peace, man. Peace and love, bro. Have me on again soon, Jules.
For sure, for sure, for sure.